The shocking murder that rocks Port Charles. Brennan's body discovered as dark secrets surface. The tranquil waters of Port Charles Harbor have been shattered by a discovery that will send shockwaves through the community and unravel one of the most explosive betrayals in General Hospital history. When teenage friends Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri stumbled upon a lifeless body floating near the docks during what should have been an ordinary morning, they unknowingly set in motion a chain of events that would expose deadly secrets, broken loyalties, and the dangerous world of international espionage that has been lurking beneath Port Charles' surface. Rocco and Danny discover a body on the beach, a pivotal moment in the ABC General Hospital storyline, the discovery that changed everything. The morning started like any other for Danny and Rocco, two young men who often found solace in the peaceful atmosphere of the Port Charles waterfront. As they walked along the familiar docks where they had spent countless hours as children, nothing could have prepared them for the horror they were about to witness. "I think that's a body." Danny's voice trembled as he pointed toward the murky waters, his teenage mind struggling to process the grim reality before them. The sight that greeted them was one that would haunt their memories forever. The lifeless form of Jack Brennan, the WSB operative who had become deeply entrenched in Port Charles' life through his complicated relationship with Carly Spencer. Brennan, who had built a reputation as a calculating and dangerous man, capable of making people disappear without a trace, now found himself the victim of the very violence he had wielded so expertly throughout his career. Danny and Rocco discover a body floating in the river, marking a key moment in the General Hospital storyline. The web of betrayal unravels. To understand how Jack Brennan ended up floating in Port Charles Harbor, one must delve into the intricate web of deception that had been building within the WSB's ranks. At the center of this betrayal was Colette Moreau, Brennan's trusted deputy who had been secretly working against him for months. What began as seemingly minor acts of insubordination had escalated into full-scale treachery when Colette made the fateful decision to sabotage the Five Poppies resort operation in Croatia. During the crucial August 13th episode, viewers witnessed Colette's most damning act of betrayal when she contacted Pascal, an enemy operative, and deliberately exposed the identities of two undercover WSB agents, Jocelyn Jacks and Vaughn, who were operating under the aliases Mr. and Mrs. Nash. This wasn't merely a lapse in judgment or a momentary weakness. It was a calculated act of treason that put innocent lives at risk and threatened to destroy everything Brennan had worked to build. The motivations behind Colette's betrayal ran deeper than professional disagreements. Multiple sources suggest that her actions were fueled by a toxic combination of jealousy, unrequited feelings for Brennan, and rage over his relationship with Carly Spencer. What she had interpreted as meaningful moments with Brennan had been nothing more than professional manipulation, and watching him develop genuine feelings for Carly had pushed her beyond the breaking point. The final confrontation, the confrontation that would ultimately lead to Brennan's death, began to build as he slowly became aware of the scope of Colette's treachery. Known for his ruthless efficiency and zero tolerance for betrayal, Brennan had already issued ominous warnings to his deputy. "If I ever have to tell you again, it will be the last thing you hear," he had threatened, his voice carrying the weight of countless previous eliminations. Those who knew Brennan understood that such warnings typically served as death sentences, rather than mere reprimands. As evidence of Colette's betrayal mounted, the inevitable showdown became unavoidable. The discovery of classified documents and encrypted communications left no doubt about her guilt, and Brennan, a man who had built his career on decisive action, prepared to deal with the traitor in his characteristic permanent fashion. What he didn't anticipate was that Colette, driven by desperation and fury, would strike first. The confrontation likely took place in a private setting, where Brennan believed he held all the advantages. As a seasoned operative, he had eliminated numerous threats throughout his career, and Colette should have been just another problem to be quietly resolved. However, desperation can make even the most unlikely people dangerous, and Colette's intimate knowledge of Brennan's methods gave her the element of surprise she needed. A murder born of desperation. When Brennan confronted Colette with evidence of her crimes and threatened to have her imprisoned, or worse, he sealed his own fate. The woman who had once been his most trusted ally now faced complete destruction. Her career finished, her freedom forfeited, and quite possibly her life in danger. In that moment of ultimate desperation, with no way out and nothing left to lose, Colette made the decision that would transform her from traitor to murderer. The gun appeared with practiced efficiency, a reminder that both players in this deadly game were highly trained killers. But while Brennan had grown comfortable in his position of power, perhaps even complacent about the threats around him, Colette acted with the desperate fury of someone who had been cornered. The shot rang out with finality, cutting short not only Brennan's life, but also ending the reign of one of Port Charles' most dangerous residents. Disposing of the body required all of Colette's training and cunning. Brennan's powerful frame had to be transported to the waterfront and pushed into the harbor's murky depths, where she hoped the currents would carry away the evidence of her crime. What she couldn't have anticipated was that the waters of Port Charles would prove less cooperative than expected, and that two teenagers would discover her victim before nature could complete the cover-up. Enter Detective Dante Falconeri. As news of the body's discovery spread through Port Charles, Detective Dante Falconeri found himself thrust into what would become one of the most complex and dangerous investigations of his career. Dante, already dealing with the emotional aftermath of being removed from Sam's murder case due to Persona L involvement, now faced a new challenge that would test both his professional skills and his ability to navigate the treacherous world of international espionage. The identification of Jack Brennan's body would immediately elevate this case beyond typical Port Charles drama. As a WSB operative with connections throughout the intelligence community, Brennan's murder represented not just a local crime, but a potential threat to national security. Dante would quickly realize that this investigation would require him to delve into a world where allies and enemies were indistinguishable, and where the stakes extended far beyond Port Charles city limits. The hunt for the killer. With Brennan's identity confirmed, Dante began the methodical process of reconstructing the victim's final days. The detective's natural instincts, honed through years of experience with Port Charles' most complex cases, would prove invaluable as he started to piece together the web of relationships and conflicts surrounding the dead WSB operative. Every conversation, every meeting, every seemingly innocent interaction would need to be examined for potential motives and clues. The investigation would inevitably lead Dante to the Five Poppies resort operation and the recent betrayal that had put Jocelyn and Vaughn's lives at risk. As he uncovered the details of Colette's treachery and Brennan's response, a clearer picture would begin to emerge of the deadly game that had been playing out behind the scenes. The question wouldn't be whether Brennan had enemies. A man in his position inevitably accumulated numerous people who wanted him dead, but rather which enemy had acted first. Colette's careful facade would begin to crack under the pressure of Dante's investigation. Her attempts to maintain normal operations while secretly celebrating her enemy's demise would require a level of acting that even her WSB training might not have adequately prepared her for. Every interaction with her colleagues, every response to questions about Brennan's whereabouts, would need to be perfectly calibrated to avoid suspicion. Unraveling the truth. As Dante dug deeper into the case, the evidence would slowly, but inevitably point toward Colette. Her access to Brennan's schedule, her knowledge of his routines, and her ability to arrange private meetings would make her a person of interest. Even before her betrayal of the Croatia operation came to light, the detective's experience with complex motivations and hidden agendas would serve him well. As he began to understand the personal and professional forces that had driven Colette to murder. News. We will delve into the fascinating world of Kirsten Storms, uncovering lesser-known facets of her life and career that keep fans hooked. Kirsten Storms, the charismatic actress who brings Maxie Jones to life on ABC's General Hospital, remains a constant source of intrigue for daytime TV enthusiasts, with everyone eager to catch glimpses of her daily routines, candid thoughts, and even her fashion choices that often blend effortless style with a touch of bohemian flair. Her enduring appeal stems from years of portraying a character who's navigated everything from fashion industry chaos to heart-wrenching family dramas in Port Charles, making her a relatable figure for viewers who've followed her evolution. This year, while Kirsten has kept a relatively low profile on social media, she's occasionally shared snippets that offer a peek into her off-screen existence, reminding us that behind the glamour of soap opera sets lies a multifaceted woman balancing motherhood, creativity, and personal growth. From her early days breaking into acting as a teen to her current status as a soap staple, Kirsten's journey has been marked by resilience and authenticity, drawing admirers who appreciate her blend of vulnerability and strength. Whether it's her on-point wardrobe selections during red carpet events, or her subtle nods to wellness trends, she continues to inspire curiosity about what makes her tick beyond the scripts. One of the rare personal updates Kirsten provided this year came in the form of a striking black and white snapshot of her young daughter, Harper, posted on Instagram in February, capturing a candid moment that resonated with parents everywhere. In the image, Harper's playful energy shines through, perhaps mid-laughter or in a whirlwind of morning preparations, symbolizing the joyful chaos of family life. Kirsten accompanied the photo with a humorous caption, "This perfectly captures my morning vibes, wrangling Harper for school outfits, flying, breakfast negotiations, and that eternal quest for matching shoes. Who else is in this chaotic club? And please, if your little ones magically wake up with homework done and hair braided, spare us the details." This lighthearted share not only highlighted her role as a dedicated mom, but also sparked a wave of relatable comments from followers sharing their own parenting hacks, like quick breakfast recipes or time-saving apps for busy schedules. It's these authentic glimpses that humanize Kirsten, showing her as someone who juggles the demands of a high-profile career with the everyday adventures of raising a spirited child, possibly incorporating fun traditions like weekend baking sessions or impromptu dance parties to unwind. While Kirsten has been transparent about her history with bipolar disorder and depression in previous years, it's important to note that this doesn't imply she's facing those challenges at this very moment. Instead, it reflects her commitment to destigmatizing mental health through honest conversations. Her past disclosures have empowered many, painting a picture of someone who's navigated the highs and lows with grace, perhaps drawing from therapeutic practices like journaling or mindfulness exercises that she's hinted at in interviews. Currently, she seems to prioritize a more secluded approach to her private world, choosing to shield certain aspects from the public eye amid the relentless scrutiny that comes with fame. This shift could stem from a desire to foster a sense of normalcy for her family, away from the constant buzz of fan speculation and media spotlights, allowing her to focus on personal milestones like Harper's school achievements or quiet evenings pursuing hobbies that ground her. Naturally, this air of mystery has sparked worry among her loyal fan base, who miss the vibrant energy she once brought to her online presence, including her passion for crafting personalized gifts that showcased her artistic side. Back in her more active sharing days, Kirsten delighted followers by knitting cozy sweaters for close friends, such as her former co-star Em Rylan, who played Lulu Spencer with such chemistry that their on-screen bond spilled over into real-life camaraderie. She'd post about innovative patterns, from intricate cable knits inspired by cozy cabin aesthetics to colorful crochet projects that incorporated trendy yarns and pastel hues, often tying them to seasonal themes like holiday scarves or summer throws. Fans reminisce about those updates, which not only revealed her creative talents, but also fostered a community of fellow crafters, exchanging tips on everything from stitch techniques to sourcing eco-friendly materials. The absence of these posts has led some to wonder if life's busier rhythms, perhaps involving new script demands or family commitments, have temporarily sidelined these joyful pursuits. Kirsten has always been forthright with her audience about her mental health journey, using platforms to normalize discussions that might otherwise remain taboo. In the entertainment industry, in a memorable April 2020, to chat on Maurice Benard's insightful YouTube series State of Mind, she opened up about living with bipolar I disorder and the accompanying waves of anxiety that can disrupt even the simplest routines. She described it vividly. "Anxiety is a constant companion for me, and with bipolar I, things can spiral into frenzy over the smallest details. I get this overwhelming sense of fluster, laced with fear and stress, especially around punctuality and the type who arrives precisely on time, double-checking clocks and routes obsessively." She went on to recount experiences like panic attacks triggered by everyday pressures, and how a medication adjustment once backfired, leading to unexpected side effects that tested her resolve. These revelations, shared with Benard's empathetic hosting style, highlighted her proactive approach, possibly including collaborations with mental health advocates or incorporating coping strategies like guided meditations into her daily life, all while maintaining her professional poise on set. As we reflect on Kirsten Storm's evolving story, it's clear her influence extends far beyond the screen, touching lives through her candor and charm. Next, we will uncover the thrilling developments surrounding Dr. Britt Westburn's precarious situation at the enigmatic Five Poppies Resort, and her tangled connection with Jason Morgan. In the swirling drama of ABC's General Hospital, Dr. Britt Westburn has been fiercely determined to push Jason Morgan far from the luxurious, yet shadowy confines of the Five Poppies Resort. a sprawling Mediterranean hideaway known for its opulent villas and hidden agendas. With her signature blend of sharp intellect and unyielding resolve, Britt has firmly declared that she requires no rescue, particularly not from the man who once shattered her heart by prioritizing his loyalty to Carly Spencer over their budding romance. That painful betrayal, rooted in Jason's deep-seated obligations to his closest allies in Port Charles, left scars that Britt wears like armor, masking any lingering vulnerabilities. Yet, beneath her tough exterior, subtle hints like a fleeting glance or a hesitant pause in conversation betray that her emotions for Jason haven't fully faded, even as she erects walls to keep him at bay. This internal conflict adds layers to her character, as she navigates the resort's sun-drenched terraces and intricate corridors, where every interaction could unravel carefully laid plans. By urging Jason to depart, Britt isn't just safeguarding her independence, she's weaving a protective shield around him, shielding him from the dangers posed by her elusive superior, whose influence looms like a storm cloud over the azure Croatian skies. Britt's motivations run deeper than mere self-preservation, as she's acutely aware that escaping the resort's grasp isn't an option for her, tied as she is to a vital lifeline provided by this mysterious overlord, diagnosed with the relentless progression of Huntington's disease, a condition that once seemed like an unbreakable sentence with no known remedy. Britt has found an unexpected glimmer of hope in experimental treatments doled out by her enigmatic employer. These medications, possibly cutting-edge infusions administered in a state-of-the-art private clinic hidden within the resort's grounds, keep her symptoms at bay, granting her precious time to fight back against the illness's debilitating effects, such as involuntary movements or cognitive fog that could derail her sharp medical mind. In return for this salvation, Britt lends her expertise to a clandestine cold fusion project spearheaded by the brilliant, yet shadowy scientist Henry Dalton, whose groundbreaking work on sustainable energy sources promises to revolutionize the world, but hides potential for misuse in the wrong hands. Her involvement might include analyzing data from high-tech labs equipped with glowing reactors and holographic displays, blending her medical acumen with ethical dilemmas that test her moral compass. All of this remains a closely guarded secret from Jason, who sees only the surface of her defiance, unaware of the high-stakes bargain that's keeping her anchored to this perilous paradise. After intense confrontations filled with charged tension and unspoken regrets, Britt finally persuades the stoic Jason to abandon his protective instincts and leave both her and the sun-kissed shores of Croatia behind, though not without a parting gesture that could alter everything. Reluctantly conceding, Jason hands over a discreet burner phone, a compact device programmed with encrypted channels and a single preset contact his own, insisting she use it in any moment of true peril, perhaps envisioning scenarios where old foes from Port Charles resurface, or new threats emerge from the resort's underbelly. Britt accepts it with feigned indifference, tucking it away in a hidden compartment of her designer handbag, likely intending to let it gather dust amid her array of medical supplies and personal mementos. However, the winds of fate are shifting dramatically, as unforeseen events are poised to upend her carefully maintained isolation, forcing her to reconsider alliances in a game where trust is as rare as the resort's exclusive vintage wines. This small act of connection from Jason, symbolizing his enduring concern despite past heartaches, plants the seed for potential redemption arcs that could reignite their complicated history. Currently oblivious to the full extent of the resort's dark secrets, Britt is on the verge of stumbling upon a shocking revelation that Jocelyn Jacks and her companion Vaughn have been ensnared as prisoners by the same shadowy figure, pulling her strings. Joss, with her youthful bravado and ties to powerful Port Charles families, might have infiltrated the resort under the guise of a glamorous vacation, only to be caught in a web of espionage involving guarded files and whispered conspiracies. Vaughn, perhaps a tech expert or undercover operative with a knack for decoding encrypted messages, complements Joss's mission, but their capture in dimly lit holding cells equipped with surveillance cameras heightens the stakes. Britt's suspicions could arise from overheard snippets of conversation during a lavish dinner gala, or anomalies in the resort's guest logs that don't add up, leading her to piece together the puzzle with her keen observational skills, honed from years of diagnosing complex cases on General Hospital. Even upon discovering the captive's plight, Britt faces an impossible bind, as any direct interference could jeopardize her access to the life-sustaining drugs, potentially accelerating her disease's grip and leaving her vulnerable to its unforgiving symptoms. Her hands tied by this dire dependency, she must navigate a moral tightrope, weighing the value of innocent lives against her own survival in a resort that masquerades as a haven but harbors cells of coercion and control. In this high-tension scenario, the only viable recourse for Britt becomes reaching out covertly to Jason, the one individual she trusts with the expertise to orchestrate a daring extraction, without alerting her watchful boss. Jason, with his storied background in high-risk operations from mob enforcer escapades to survivalist feats, in Port Charles Underbella stands as the ideal savior for Joss and Vaughn, capable of assembling a stealthy rescue team equipped with gadgets like night vision scopes and silent drones. By making the call in secrecy, perhaps from a secluded balcony under the cover of a starry night, Britt can preserve her facade of loyalty, ensuring the flow of her essential medication continues uninterrupted, while subtly undermining her employer's grip. This clandestine move could spark a chain reaction of alliances, drawing in other Port Charles figures for support and escalating the international intrigue. The burning questions linger. Who exactly is this enigmatic boss orchestrating the chaos? From behind the scenes, possibly a tech mogul with ties to global energy cartels or a rogue scientist with a vendetta? Will Britt summon the courage to dial Jason and set a rescue in motion, bridging their fractured past for a greater good? And in the end, who among these entangled Sowsprit with her fragile health, Jason with his relentless drive, Joss with her fiery spirit, or Vaughn with his ingenuity will emerge from Croatia unscathed, forever changed by the ordeal? Tune in to General Hospital for the explosive revelations ahead.